Good morning and welcome to Hampton Downs for round 3 of the New Zealand Premier Motorsports series, and this of course is the new series that seriously includes the V8 touring car category, and as we all know that has 3 segments within it. It's been split into Class 1 and Class 2, Class 2 being the old TL cars, or as we colloquially roughly say, TL's the old taxis, and then it's got the Super Tourers and TLX. And many people ask all the time, what exactly is a TLX and what is the difference between it and a Super Tourer? The best person to talk to is Nick Ross, who drives in one of the TLX cars, who will talk us through what a TLX is so we can compare it to an ST. And don't forget that in time, even though they are similar but different, parity will come in. Things will happen to try and bring them closer together, and you can only do so much, but things will develop and go on as the rounds go on and continue. For now though, we need to understand exactly what a TLX and why there is a difference in the race speeds at certain circuits and certain venues and certain race meetings and different weather conditions, because there are some things inside that drivers like Nick can do to tweak it a little bit. Nick, good morning, thank you for your time. Let's try and go through this step by step. I guess what we need to start with though is the power plant. The difference between the TLX and the Super Tourer. What do you have?
What I've got inside the Nissan Altima is a VK56 engine, which is a 5.6 litre V8, which comes out in the Nissan Patrols. For us, in America, Nissan Titans. Whereas the Super Tourer has a LS7 engine in it. The TLX was designed as a car that has its own DNA, so Nissan runs Nissan, Toyota runs Toyota, and that was the way the class was originally designed. Okay,
so a 5.6 litre compared to a 7, so immediately people are going to go, well, how on earth is that fair? Well, really it's not, but that's just the way it is at the moment, but things will happen. Do you roughly know the differences between the two engines in regards to horsepower and torque?
Horsepower at the moment, we're pretty similar on the dyno. The torque, being a 7 litre engine for the ST car, is got quite a lot of torque down low. The VK56, not too bad, whereas the littler engine like the 5 litre Toyota doesn't seem to have the same amount of torque as the bigger engines. As we all know, more cubes, more torque.
Okay, so obviously that's going to make a difference coming out of corners and at top end. Where do you feel your particular model has an advantage?
The Nissan's quite good in the mid-range. Once it gets up and starts to boogie, it takes off. We're actually quite limited on what we can do with the horsepower. If we could open it up, we'd probably be right there. But just the way the class is trying to go about the whole parity thing at the moment, we're just working around certain things that we can do to bring the cars closer together. The brake package is pretty similar, the gear ratios are similar. The aero packages are different just because of different chassis, no different to V8 supercars. But I believe what we've got as a category is going to be brilliant once everything is absolutely pinned down.
Okay, let's move then to that suspension that you mentioned. The basic differences are, even though you said they're slightly similar, but there must be some difference?
There is some differences. They're on a wider rim. The STs are on a wider rim than we are, which we're looking at changing. They have a slightly bigger brake package than we do, but I don't think that's a big thing. They do brake very similar. The suspensions, our suspension is based a lot off the old supercar blueprint package. The STs are quite controlled on what they can do. They can't change their roll bars. They've only got a certain amount of springs they can use, whereas we're quite free on what we do. We also have a Penske shock, we also have a Penske shock where they run another shock, whereas Penske shock is very usable, user-friendly, you should say. We've also got adjustable roll bars in the car as a tuning device that we can use whilst we're out on the track.
Okay, so what is it doing for you while you're out there? What are you able to do that a Super Tourer driver cannot do?
Yeah, like I said, with the roll bars, we can change the roll bars. So if we find the car is not doing quite what we want out on the circuit, we can just reach down and change the front or the rear bar and get the car, hopefully, to do what we want it to do.
Unless you go the wrong way.
Yeah, well, that has been done once or twice.
Not saying anything. No. Okay, let's move back. We know the tyres, though, are identical now, but slightly, are they different width given they're the different rim, or have they... Okay, so you've got the same compounds, slightly different size. How does it work?
The tyres are exactly the same tyre, just that we run a narrower rim than what the other cars do. So it just makes our tyres, the profile of the tyres a little bit narrower than theirs. Other than that, the tyre is exactly the same. The compound is not what we ran last year. It is a slightly different compound, so when we all arrived at Taupo, it was a new experience for all of us on what tyres we were going to, on how these tyres were going to work.
Okay, but everyone seems to be coming to grips with it, albeit slowly and round by round. It's not like you can go out and test every day of the week to get an advantage, but that's what. So that is basically really the only differences between the cars. They've got 4 wheels, they've got aero, they've got a steering wheel and a nut behind the wheel.
Yeah, they've all got that organic matter between the seat and the steering wheel. That's the ultimate decision maker at the time. But hey, given a little bit more time, by the end of the season, this is just going to be absolutely awesome. I mean, the first two rounds, have been good anyway. Very close racing. Jason winning the first one, Simon winning the second one, Nick Ross winning the third one. It's going to be awesome.
See, he's so onto it, isn't he? Nick Ross winning this round. That's a third round. It's at Hampton. That's this weekend.
It is.
It's brilliant, really. All right, there we go. The information from Nick Ross, running in the Total Lubricants Nissan Altima. For some of you that think he's running a Toyota, no. He's running the Nissan 5.6 litre compared to the different engine in the Toyota and in the Super Tourer. He can adjust his bars while he's driving and make everything go well. And Nick never, ever moves the roll bar the wrong way. Never moves it the wrong way. More to come soon from Hampton Downs.